Okay, draw. Salute. All right, now, who has studied some rapier before? I know Jesse's done some rapier. Okay, anybody else? No? All right. I want to start with some useful terminology first. Just some basic terms. Firstly, a couple of anatomical terms. If your hand starts with palm down like this twisting action is supination. Supination means I'm turning my palm up. This is supination. And this is pronation. I'm turning it in. So supination, I'm turning my wrist out. Pronation, I'm turning my wrist in. This is important because supination and pronation are how you control edge alignment when you're making your guards. And edge alignment is very important, as we'll see in a minute. Secondly, for limbs and muscles, this is extension and this is flexion. Extension and flexion. Extension is when the muscle is extending out away from your body, and flexion is when it's moving back inside. And extension and flexion are important because extension is typically when you're making your wards on the right hand side of your body, and flexion is what happens when you're making your wards on the left hand side of your body. So if I'm moving into prime or seconda or terza, I make an extension of my arm. But if I want to move over to kata, I have to use flexion. So extension is my limb is moving away from my body. Flexion, my limb is moving towards my body. Supination, I'm turning my wrist out. And pronation, I'm turning my wrist back in. The anatomy of the rapier, the three most important parts of the rapier are firstly the point, which we know is our primary method of attack for thrusts. Then we have two edges. The edge that is aligned with your knuckles is called the true edge. And the edge on the inside, where your thumb is the false edge. The true edge is the stronger edge. And when you make your extension, that is the edge that naturally attacks. And because the true edge has the extension of the arm, it is the stronger edge. So when you are parrying, edge alignment is important. Now, you'll see when we go through the wards, the four guards of Agrippa, Camillo Agrippa, that we'll be studying, we'll be using as our base, how important edge alignment is. So we're going to look at four guards or four wards. And they're from Camillo Agrippa, from his 1553 rapier treatise. So in Agrippa there are four basic wards. The first is prime. Now with prime, remember you are placing your feet at right angles to each other, a bit more than a foot's distance apart, nearly 2 feet distance apart. Your weight is on your back foot. So in prima you are actually leaning back. Your weight is on your back foot, and your wrist is supinated, your palm is out. Your palm is facing away from you. Now this means your true edge is high, true edge is above, and that is what you are guarding with. So this is a guard for overhead attacks. And you are displaying the true edge in order to create your ward. Now, something that is most important for rapiers, because thrusting is your primary attack, whenever you are making your wards, and in fact ideally whenever you are moving your blade, you must be making a line. Making a line means ensuring that your point is directly in a line with your opponent's body. And you should think about your opponent's body in a vertical axis, and your point should be, in all your guards, your point should be aligned along that vertical axis. Whenever you are in a guard, you are also making point. You're also drawing a line, making a line. Your point is extended towards your opponent's body, so that if you extend your arm, or if the body of the opponent advances, they are endangered by your point. So making a point means that the tip of your sword is potentially endangering your opponent. So, weight on your rear foot, making a right angle with your right foot, prima. And you should be able to draw a vertical line showing that your point is drawing a line on your opponent's body. Palm out and high above your head. Seconda, you start to pronate your wrist. So now your wrist is pronated. It is palm down. And you lower the blade. So now the true edge is on the outside. It's not above you, it's on the outside to protect you from a blow on the side. And your point is approximately at your opponent's head height. And you can see you're still making a line. Now you will see if I move from prima to seconda, my tip basically does not move. If I can take yours as an example, can you hold that for me, Trini? Thanks. Okay. All right, Casey, could you get into prima? Good. All right. So a little higher. Yep. Pointing at my head now. When you move into seconda, your tip should not move. So move into seconda. Yep, great. So then ideally, the tip is still pointing, making that line. And in all your guards, the tip of your blade is still drawing point. It's still making a line. And that's really important because that means that your weapon is still ready to engage the opponent at all times. Thank you. The third guard is called terza, and this is a low guard. Now you pronate your wrist even further, so now your palm is facing to the left. So in prima, your palm faces out away from you. In seconda, your palm faces down as you pronate your wrist. Then as you pronate further in terza, your palm is facing your left. In terza, you are starting to lean forward a little. You're not leaning back anymore. As you go through the guards in Agrippa, you start to lean forward more. So you're leaning back in prima. You're nearly straight in seconda. You're leaning slightly forward in terza, and your true edge is facing directly up. And your palm is facing to your left. You're leaning slightly forward. Kata, in kata you roll your wrist further, so now your palm is facing up, and your true edge is on your outside, which is protecting you from thrusts and from cuts on the outside. So you can see at all times, the idea is you are protecting yourself with the true edge. In terza, you're protecting yourself from low attacks coming up. In kata, you're attacking yourself from cuts and thrusts on the outside. In prima, you're protecting yourself with the true edge from cuts and thrusts coming from above. And in seconda, you're also protecting yourself with the true edge from attacks on the outside line. But if you watch my point, you should see that my point, when I move through the guards, my point always maintains the line. I can always keep my point along that vertical axis. So I'm trying to maintain basically directing my point towards my opponent's center mass. If I'm keeping my blade directed, my point directed basically at my opponent's center mass, it gives me the greatest chance of hitting him. I'm not trying to do anything fancy and changing my guards from, oh no, I'm aiming at his head, now I'm aiming at his elbow. These are two small targets. You want to start by aiming in center mass. In center mass, it's the easiest position, the least amount of distance you need to travel to any part of the body that you want to attack. So always starting in the center. So, prima, wrist fully supinated, palm facing out, hand higher than your head, maintaining the line, and you're leaning back on your back foot. Seconda, pronate the wrist, palm down. Point is directed at your opponent's head. Your hand is now at your head level instead of above you. Terza, leaning slightly forward. The true edge is facing up. Pronate your wrist further. Your palm is facing out. Kata. Pronate your wrist further. Your palm is facing up. Your true edge is on the outside line. And your point is still directed towards your opponent's center mass. Now you are leaning forward on your right foot. Okay. Prima. Seconda. Terza. Kata. Kata to prima. Prima to terza. Terza, seconda. Seconda, kata. Kata, terza. Terza, seconda. Seconda, prima. Prima, kata. Kata, terza. Terza, seconda. Seconda, kata. Kata, terza. Terza, prima. Prima, terza. Terza, kata. Kata, seconda. Seconda, prima. Prima, terza. Terza, seconda. Terza, prima. Prima, kata. Okay, that's really good. All right, so these are the 4 wards in Agrippa, very basic wards. They're quite similar to the modern fencing wards. And as you can see, there is an economy of movement. You must be very aware of your wrist position, your supination and pronation, because that is what is controlling your edge alignment. And at all times you must be aware that you are guarding yourself with your true edge, which is your strong edge. Now the other parts of the rapier which are important are the flexible part, comprising typically nearly the first third of the blade, which is your foible. And then lower down you have the stiff part of your blade, which will not bend. That is the strong part of the blade. And this is called, in French it is called the forte, and in Italian it's called the debole. So foible and debole, or foible and forte. When you parry with your true edge against your opponent's blade, and ideally you parry with your forte against their debole. So, okay, Chuni, could you come here, sweetie? Okay, I'm going to start in terza. Chuni is going to make an attack in terza, in kata, and I will move to kata in order to protect myself with the forte of my blade against her debole with the true edge. All right, so I will move across. I move across. My forte has engaged her debole. This means I have control over the blade. My blade will not yield. Her blade will yield, which allows me to push it aside or move it down or to trap it. And either way, I have control, because even with maximum pressure, she cannot shift my blade, because her foible will yield. The foible will give way. And then I have the ability to come in her inside line. She still cannot move and dodge my blade. So when parrying, parry with the true edge and apply forte to foible. Okay, line up here and everyone take a partner. Casey and Chuni and Albert, and Jesse, line up 2 by 2. Come, move down here a bit further, and I'll stay in the middle. All right, now I want you to both move into terza. Everybody move into terza. Now we're not going to do a full lunge. The person who is making the lunge will just extend enough to make a thread. Now you want to, Choni, sweet, you need to move it forward a bit. Yeah, that's it, great. So now there is a threat. You need to move into kata. That's right, excellent. So very good wrist alignment and edge alignment, turn out. Now you've pushed it aside and you know that you have voided the attack when, if the attack continues, it will move past you. It will not endanger you. So edge alignment, wrist pronation and supination maintains your wrist edge alignment, and with the edge, the true edge, you defend forte against foible. Okay, Chuni, attack. Okay, great. So now with your partner, practice taking turns attacking in the various different wards, or from the various different directions. Okay, so Chuni, disengage and just launch an attack, and then he needs to decide, Casey needs to decide how he can defend from that attack. Okay, great. So she's attacking in kata and a straight kata defense. Good. Okay, excellent. All right, good. So if she is attacking high, you need to decide which is the best way to respond. Now, you responded there instinctively. You respond with prima, which is correct, and you're presenting you're lifting up her blade, which is good. But one disadvantage of this, because her attack was on your left side, the attack was in kata. So when you lifted your blade into prima, something happened that should not happen. Your tip went offline. Ideally, you should be able to maintain a guard, use a guard, which keeps your tip in line. So that's right, move on the other side into septime. Like this, that's right, yes. So remember your true edge, you'll see roll out. Now you're moving, if you think about the natural rolling over your wrist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're rolling it around, that's right, exactly. Your true edge is on the outside, so you're able to void her attack, and yet at the same time you're maintaining your line. So she's up here and you are maintaining your line. So if she continues to advance, she will be endangered by your point. Great, excellent. So it's very important when you're thinking about economy of movement, and when you're thinking about the whole purpose of a ward, of a guard, is not simply to void the opponent's attack, but also to maintain the initiative. If they attack and you simply parry and you take your point of line, then you have lost the initiative. Okay, Chuni, can you launch an attack? Launch an attack in kata. If I attack with the flat of my blade, I don't have a lot of power, and at the same time I'm taking my blade offline. My point is no longer endangering my enemy. If I parry correctly in kata, okay, attack. My true edge is against her blade. I've caught her foible in my forte. My forte is against her déballé, and I'm maintaining point. My point is still aligned with her center mass. So if I lower my blade and continue, or she continues, she will be endangered by my point. So the point of the purpose of a ward or a guard is not merely to defend yourself, but to maintain the initiative such that if the opponent continues their attack, firstly, their attack will be voided, and secondly, they will be endangered by your point. So even if you make no attacking or counter-attacking action, you are covering yourself and you're endangering the opponent. So this is about making sure you keep the initiative so that all your actions take as little time as possible. Okay, how are you guys going?
We just got a blunt on him and
okay, great.
Practice.
Okay, Chuni, can you direct some training with Casey and take turns practicing the different wards and demonstrating how the ward should correctly void the attack whilst maintaining the line. Okay, now Jesse, what I'd like you to do with Albert is that ask Albert to go through the wards. Okay, Albert, prima, get into prima. Prima, great.
Feet closer together.
Outside, that's it, great. Now,
Feet a bit closer.
Now, Jesse, you should ask him to go through the wards and then check his wards by pushing with your blade just to see if an attack will be voided, okay? So, yes, that will void an attack. Okay, great. And then, okay, kata. Great. Yes, that will void an attack, but your point is offline. Move it more into line, okay? So, just check his wards to see if they are properly voiding the attack, and check his edge alignment, check his wrist pronation, and check if his point is maintaining the line. So ask him to make a ward, and then check the quality of his ward.
Okay.
Great.
All right. Everything.
Oh, nice one, Chuni. That's a very risky move because if you are quick enough, you can counter disengage and come in under her blade. But she's relying on the fact that she will probably be quicker than you. All right, now what I'd like you to do, Chuni, is what Jesse is doing with Albert. I'd like you to take Casey through the different wards. So first you tell him a ward to make, and then you check the quality of his ward. Okay, so I'll show you what to do. Move into Preem. Now, in order to check the quality of Chun-Yi's ward, I check if her feet are okay. Probably her toe needs to be a little more turned out. That's right, so she's making that right angle. So I check feet. She's moving back, that's good, she's leaning back. Now, to check the quality of her ward, I make a high attack. Yes, I need to check if my attack will be voided. Yes, my attack will be voided, that's a good ward. But she's not truly in prima, that's it, turn it out, that's right. I need to check her edge alignment. True edge should be up, true edge should be high. So yes, that will void the attack. I also need to check point alignment. Is she making the line? Yes, point should be in the vertical axis. I need to check her wrist pronation. Has she turned out her palm correctly? Okay, Preem, it is not easy for you, is it? Okay, palm should be out, true edge, the edge alignment should be correct, the point should be making a line, okay? So, Casey, what will happen is that Chun-Yi will ask you to move into wards, then she will take her blade, make a terza. She will check to see if your ward will void the attack. She will check your point to see if you are still making the line, and she will check your wrist to see if you are pronating and supinating the wrist correctly in order to maintain the correct edge alignment, okay? So Chun-Yi, you can do that. Take him through the wards and then check the quality of his wards.
Shoulders are still kind of more forward. And then your core tuck.
That's good. Yep, that's nice. Remember when she pushes on when she applies pressure to your blade, just push back a bit little to maintain your ward. Yep, that's good, that's good. Don't let her push your ward offline. Yep. If she can push your ward offline, you're not doing it properly. That's good, yeah, that's very nice. Yep. Now Terza, be careful. That's right, yeah, Chun-Yi's reminding you need to make sure don't move so much with that. Terza, you need to that's right. Keep that out because you want your point maintaining the line on the vertical axis. Yeah, that's right. And you're leaning slightly forward, which is good, and that will void the attack. Okay, Kata. Great, excellent, that's really good. Wrist is up, edge alignment is good, you're guarding with the true edge. Point alignment is excellent along the vertical axis, you're leaning forward, feet are both flat, turn your toe out a little more. That's it. Good. So now you've got some support there. Great. And that's a good ward.
People throw their hand back, or some people keep it at their ear for breathing. Okay, so pretty much, yeah, your feet, it can be quite relaxed. It doesn't have to be a full like 90 degrees.
Yeah, that's good. Great. Yep, maintain the line. Excellent. It's a strong ward. Yes, definitely. Seconda. Prima, seconda, terza, quarta. It's just Italian for 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's good. Yep, good. Yeah, just turn your toe out a little more. Okay, that's great.
It's down almost to the chin, almost to where their chin would be. And then,
Great, that's nice. I'm glad you're teaching in the hand position too, the offhand position.
yeah. And then terza, you step a little bit more forward.
That's when you start putting your weight on your right foot and your front foot.
Yeah, you can
You can
swing
rock,
back,
yeah.
obviously, or sometimes whatever's appropriate. And there's even on different situations you might have wider terzas or narrow terzas. But in general, it's about like a very natural, just kind of sitting. When your shoulders are still forward, you're still able to use your handle off. It's only when you get to like ortho where it really your shoulders go back more. And the reason why too is because it gives you more reach. When your shoulders are square, you don't have as much reach.
So you need to twist.
So you have reach and you have less target.
Less exposed cross section, yeah.
And you're ready to lunge.
Okay, now let's line up again here, and I'm going to talk about something important concerning lunges. That's right, yeah, let's line up in front. In Agrippa, we're just going to look at the lunge work, or the footwork of the lunge first. In Agrippa, you push off from the back foot. Your back foot is providing you with force to propel you. This is why your rear foot provides you with some spring and some force to push you forward. You're rocking your hips forward as well to move this very heavy center mass of your body. So you use the upper thigh muscles here, which are your most powerful muscles, to move the heaviest part of your body. You don't want to try and move your whole body with one leg. If you're trying to do like that, basically you're hopping. And you can try for yourself how hard it is to launch your whole body with one leg with a hop. You don't want to try and do that. You have huge muscle groups here in your upper thighs and buttocks which can push your center body mass forward. So use the strongest muscles to push the heaviest part of your body forward. As you push that forward, your body will naturally rock backwards, which is not good. But because at the same time you are moving forward with your right leg, when you move forward with your right leg, it naturally moves you down. So moving forward with your leading leg makes your body lean down. Kicking forward with your hips makes you go back. So the two counterbalance each other. So even as you are thrusting forwards with your hips, you're not going to lean backwards, because moving forward with your front leg is going to incline your body towards you, incline your body down. So the two will balance each other. So when you make a good, powerful lunge from your hips, throwing your, kicking out with your leading leg, then the backwards action of your hips and the forward action of your leg will counter each other out, and your body will remain more or less stable and vertical as you make your lunge. So you can see, even though I will kick out with my thrust out with my hips, my leg will go forward, my body will basically remain vertical, and I will be able to maintain line. So I'm thrusting with my back foot, I'm thrusting with my hip and my thigh muscles, and I'm kicking out with my right leg to make my lunge. Now, in Agrippa, economy of movement is important, and a quick recovery is also important. Agrippa is very focused on keeping you out of danger. So a lunge in Agrippa maintains a straight back leg, but the heel is on the ground. You can bend the back leg if you need to, but the front knee does not move over the toe. So in an Agrippa lunge, you need to maintain your balance and understand the length of your natural stride. So in an Agrippa lunge, you do not overextend so that your knee does not reach your toe, nor do you extend so that your knee goes over your toe. Now if you lean forward, if you're getting into a lunge position and lean forward so your knee is over your toe, you will feel that you have a lot of range, but you'll also feel how difficult it is to recover. Everyone move into a lunge stance with your knee just above your toe. Okay? Check with your blade, move so that you're in a lunge stance and your knee is above your toe. Okay, lunge, right? Now, check with your blade so that your knee is in line with your toe. Now move so your knee is over your toe. You'll feel a very big difference in pressure. You'll find there's a lot more stress on the muscles. It gives you a lot more range, but pulling back from there, if you pull back from there, you can see how much force that takes. You'll really feel it up there. Now, in Rodolfo Capoferro, in his treatise of 1610, Rodolfo Capoferro's lunge is a very long, deep lunge, and he does extend the knee over the toe. But the structure of his lunge is longer and deeper, so that he actually counters the pressure on the knee. But at the same time, it still takes longer to recover. So for now, before we get into Rodolfo Capoferro, who we'll probably study much later, for now, try and maintain a lunge so that your knee does not move beyond your toe, and you'll find it's easier to recover, and you still have range. Now, there's something else which is important, which is about torso alignment when you're lunging. Stand in front of me, facing me directly, with your torso facing mine. You put your blade out. Now I want you to twist your body without moving your feet. Just twist your body from the hips. You'll see something happens. What happens? You get extra range, right? This is free extra range, all right? So when you are thrusting, when you are making your lunge, you need to twist slightly, which gives you the advantage, firstly, of increasing your range without increasing the distance of your lunge. And at the same time, it provides a defensive mechanism because it reduces your exposed cross-section. So if I'm lunging at you like this directly, I have a large cross-section which makes me a big target. If I turn my body without even advancing my lunge, without even moving my feet any further forward, I increase the distance of my lunge, and at the same time I reduce my target. That's incredibly important because a lot of people, when they lunge, will lunge directly forward, which exposes their body, and this is when people get double hits or after hits. What you want to do is, when you lunge, try and turn your body. This is one of the reasons why why Capofero and Agrippa and some of the other masters tell you to throw the offhand behind you, because it will help open up your chest and naturally make you turn and twist. And Agrippa, in some cases, throws the offhand out so far and even steps out of line to the most ridiculous extent, so that his body is voiding the possible counterattack. Now, obviously, we don't have to go that far, especially because that's an advanced technique. But it's important to know that when you are lunging, twisting your body, twisting your torso like that, gives you extra range without even advancing your feet any further, and reduces your cross section. So something that's very important, especially in terms of economy of movement and also timing, and I'll talk about timing in a minute, is that every action should have the potential not only to guard you, but threaten your opponent. You can guard yourself and threaten your opponent in 2 actions. Okay, Chuni, come here. Okay, Chuni will attack me in kata, and I will show you a defense and a counterattack in 2 actions. Okay, Chuni attacks in kata. I parry in kata. Now, you can see my parry is 1 action, and in making this deep parry, I have taken my blade offline. So now I must realign my blade and make an attack. That's not good. If I parry more correctly in kata, okay, so Chuni will attack me in kata, I parry more correctly in kata, I've voided her attack, and my point is online, so if she continues to advance, and even if I don't do anything else, she will be in danger. And this also gives me the opportunity to counterattack. So, if Chuni attacks in kata, I parry correctly in kata, my parry defends me and endangers her. And I've performed 1 action to guard myself and to prevent her advancing further. And I've done it with 1 action, so that's saving me time. Now, the timing of the lunge is extremely important, and probably the most well-known treatise that spends a lot of time in detail on timing is George Silver's 1599 treatise, which speaks about the concept of true times. And George Silver talks about true times and false times. What he calls false times are moments when you have moved the parts of your body in the wrong order so that your attack will be less effective. True times are when you move your body in the correct order so that your attack will be effective. And for Silver, the true times are the times of the hand, the body, the foot, and the feet. Now, what he means by that is, when you're attacking, the hand should move first because it can move very quickly, and this means that if the attack is parried, or if you're starting to make an attack and you have to change your mind, then you can very quickly do so because your hand can move faster than your body, your foot, or your feet. So you attack with the hand first. Then, if the opponent has done nothing, you lean forward, inclining the body, and that is the movement of the body. So the timing is first hand, then body. You're moving your body secondly because it's a heavier mass. But the other reason to move your body second is because you are still not fully committed to the attack. You can disengage if necessary. If the opponent retreats, then your attack is void. There is no reason to pursue the attack. If the opponent parries or does a disengagement or attempts to counter-attack with a counter parry, then your attack will be void and you need to change direction. So moving the hand out does not commit you. Extending the body makes your threat more dangerous to the opponent, but still does not commit you. You can still disengage or change your mind and your line of attack very quickly. Then, if the opponent still does not void the attack and the opening for the attack is still there, then you move your foot to make the attack. Now you're properly lunging, now you're making the attack. And so the timing here is hand, body, foot. Now Silver says the 4 true times are hand, body, foot, feet. Well, what does he mean by foot and then feet? This means that moving your one foot, of course, is enough to make an attack. But if the opponent voids the attack, or if the opponent, particularly if the opponent retreats, attack voids by retreating, then you need to move the other foot, and you can advance further with both feet to press the attack. So the true times are hand, body, foot, feet. And this aspect of timing is extremely difficult to master, and this is why we need a lot of practice on timing. The key aspect of winning an attack when we are fencing, especially with rapier, is the decision point. What we are trying to do when we make our extension, when we extend our hand, is we are trying to threaten the opponent. If the opponent does not respond to the threat, then we can commit the body. If the opponent does not respond to the threat, we can commit the foot, and now we are making the attack, and then we respond depending on what the opponent does. But at each point, there is a decision to be made. And ideally what we are doing is we are doing all of these very quickly. We're extending hand, body, foot. But at each point of extension, we have to make a very quick decision. We have to see, has the opponent responded or not? And this also gets back to the Agrippa's principle of expansion and contraction. For Agrippa, whenever you are making an attack, your body is expanding. Whenever you are covering yourself, whenever you are making a ward, you are contracting. When you are attacking, your body takes up more space. When you are guarding, your body takes up less space. This is important. So for Agrippa, you're not standing there doing this, attacking and defending while your body remains static. You're moving your body and your blade in harmony. Your blade needs to move forward in order to attack, so your body is expanding. But when you are covering yourself, when you're executing a ward, then as I said previously, your sword arm is exercising flexion. It is moving back in towards you, so you are contracting. The point here is, if you want to reach your body, you need to expand. If you want to make your body harder to hit, you need to make it smaller, which means contract. So expanding is when you're attacking, contracting is when you're defending. So you can think of it, that's why I used the anatomical term earlier, extension and flexion. Extension and flexion reminds you that you should be expanding to attack and contracting when you are making your ward. Not just when you're making a ward, it's not just a question of taking your opponent's blade offline. But, says Agrippa, your target area should become smaller. You're actively trying to make yourself harder to hit. And this means not just moving your blade, but moving your body. So Agrippa is trying to harmonize the movement of the hand and the arm with the movement of the body, so that you are maximizing your opportunity for attack, and then you are minimizing the opponent's opportunity to attack you. Okay, let's take a break now. What I want to do now is practicing lunges and wards, lunges and parries. So we'll get into pairs, and first one person will lunge, and what you'll need to do is make a series of lunges which lets your opponent, or causes your opponent, to use their 4 wards. So I will face Chun-E. We're gonna face each other like this. I will make a slow lunge. She will parry using a guard. I will check her parry. She will check my lunge. She will look at my feet. Is my heel flat on the ground? Where is my knee? Is it over my toe? I didn't lunge too deep. Did I turn my body? So she critiques my lunge and I test her parry. Okay, I look at her parry. Her palm is out. She has engaged my déboulé with her forte. She is on point. She's making a line. She has engaged with the true edge. My attack is void. Now, Chun-Yi looks at my lunge. She should see my knee is not further than my toe. My body is turned out. My torso is opened. I've twisted around. My offhand is back. My rear foot is straight at a right angle with my front foot, and it is flat with my heel on the ground, and I haven't rolled my heel or lifted my foot. And then I will attack Chun-Yi in another lunge. I will go say in katata. I will try and make an attack. Chun-Yi supinates her wrist. I check. She should be in. Okay, Chun-Yi, what are you trying to do, buddy? Because your blade is now in a diagonal. It should be either be in seconda or it should be in prima. Okay, so you're going to go for seconda because it's easier. Okay, so now she's in seconda. Her point, she's on line. Her point is at my head. Her true edge is parrying. And her forte is against my déboulé. Her posture is good and she has voided my attack. And she checks my lunge to see my knee is not further than my toe. My body is out. My offhand is back. My rear foot is flat. I haven't rolled my heel. Okay? So stand with your partner. One person make 4 basic slow lunges to force the 4 guards. And after you have made the lunge and the parry, stop and critique each other's lunge and parry, and then you can swap. Okay? Move further back down here. That's right. Chun-Yi, buddy, move back further a little bit like this. Yeah, that's right. Let's stay in line, then I can look at you easily. No, you don't have to move forward. No.
We're coming actually this because I'm still far away from it, so I need to come in closer.
Good. Okay. So true edge, parry with a true edge. Palm is up. Edge alignment is correct. She's making a line. So if you continue to advance, you will be in danger. Her posture is great. Okay. Now you're making lunge. Now the problem here is your hand is vertical. When if you're making a lunge, it should be, that's right, your palm should be up. And the reason for this is because if she parries, you want your true edge to meet your true edge. You don't want her true edge to meet your flat because she can very easily knock your blade aside. If she meets your true edge, it's a lot more difficult. So you want to thrust palm up with the true edge on the inside. That's nice. That's great. So, knee and toe in alignment. Great. Palm is up. Okay, so you're fully supinated. The attack is void. Twisting your body. Posture is great. Foot is good. And the offhand is out. Great. Right. Okay, now see if you can make different kinds of attack to force Chun-Yi to execute the different guards. A high attack for Preem. So you can hit my hand. I'll use my hand as a dummy target, okay? Think about hitting my hand. Good, okay, great. So now you force Chun-Yi into seconda. Your true edge, now, that's right, palm up, good. Your true edge should be, you're trying to make that. Of course she's taking you offline, but you made the attack with a true edge. Okay, and your body is twisted out, that's good. Offhand is back, foot is flat. Move your toe, try and maintain that, that's right, maintain that right angle. knee and toe are great. You have very good body awareness, obviously, from longsword, which is great. So you have an advantage. You really know what your body is doing. That's important. Okay. All right, Chuni, you can drill him. Yeah, that's great. Yep, nice. Ah, careful, careful, careful.
Luckily, I'm not moving.
Mm.
Let's try again. Yeah, where's your point? Are you going over my head?
Yeah, that's right. That's good, Jesse. Great.
Oh, I'll try a slight variation. I'll try to. Look, where are you? Look that way. Try to keep it on me. So just try to keep your strong on my weak and your point on my body face.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Somewhere here, just not over there or over there.
Yeah. It just needs to be, as long as you're making a line on the vertical center axis, as long as you're trying to keep to somewhere in, say, in the center mass, somewhere to hit his body. That's great. That's really good. Yep. Oh, that's nice.
When I do the second operation, I turn my feet like that.
You mean lift your foot?
Just like that. I will turn my body this way.
Turn, definitely. Yeah. You definitely can turn. You can definitely turn if you're doing that. Yeah. But if I were to parry in seconda, okay, you attack me high. If I were to parry in seconda, if I make an attack and then you're going to attack me, if I'm going to parry in seconda, I wouldn't turn my body to the right unless I'm trying to make it a counter attack. Normally, I would try and reduce my body. Okay, so if I'm making a counter attack, say I want to make a counter parry, attack in time or attack in your time. So I would probably turn.
Putting the angle so high.
The one reason I can think of for turning would be to take you offline fully and then do my counter attack in one tempo. Okay, so if you make your attack, I counter in seconda and turn my body to take you offline, and then I would strike. But if I'm just going to parry, it's easy for me just to go straight underneath you anyway. If I'm already up in seconda, I can move underneath and hit you anyway. So moving over the top of your blade is a more risky strategy. Sorry, Tony, I didn't realize you didn't have your chest protector on.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Hey, Kevin, buddy.
do the same drill you're defending,
Yep.
let's do a thrust towards him. You'll notice something different.
Thrust to chest.
Why is he thrusting with a flat?
No, I was going to show you his cup. Well, if you make contact with it, it will
Roll.
it will put you at a big angle.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's a good thing for him.
Yeah, that is good actually. Yeah.
I've never had that with yours.
No, that's true.
But his it's very easy to, as he's extending.
Yeah, exactly. It naturally moves the blade offline, right?
Yeah.
That's obviously what it's for. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's much heavier.
Yeah,
Not
that's
as heavy as
fun.
mine. Even,
Because yours are long.
Yours longer, yeah.
yeah, but they're almost the same weight, but his is shorter. But it's good for cutting. Because also being shorter, when you cut, you can draw out to stab easier.
But Albert, if you lunge, you should be lunging with a fully supined wrist.
Yeah, the lunge should be
So
faced-
exactly, so the blade is flat, because when you're attacking, the true edge should be on the inside line. Because if he's going to parry,
that's something I didn't know.
if he's going to parry, you will parry me with your true edge. If I attack with my flat, your true edge is going to beat my flat and completely take my blade offline with really easily. But if I attack with my lunge with my true edge, your true edge, see that, is not going to move my blade because of the mass differential, right, and the flexibility. So on this axis, you can apply a lot of pressure, it will bend because the mass that you're trying to bend is very thin. But you can't bend that. So I don't want to attack with my true edge down. I want to attack with my true edge on the inside. And the other reason for doing this, take your blade, is if I attack on the inside line and you parry, when you do a counterattack, my true edge is already engaging yours. So when you do your counterattack, I'm already parrying with my true edge. If I do this, attack like that, you parry me with your true edge very easily because you can make my blade bend. You can't bend my true edge. You can bend my flat, and then if you go to counterattack, I can't beat away. I can't beat your true edge. See that? With my flat, I must use my true edge to parry. So I was explaining to Albert, because Albert was lunging, I don't know, I guess he's used to saber. He was lunging with his blade vertical with the true edge facing down. Now, Chuni, could you move into, kata. Okay, so I'm going to attack you in kata and then you move into to parry me in kata, okay? So if I attack Chuni with a lunge, which basically uses my flat, Chuni will attack in kata. If she presses on my blade, there is no way I can come online. She has complete control. I'm actually absolutely helpless. And if she beats, she's going to flick my blade right out of control. But if I attack with the true edge on the inside, the width of the blade, the thickness of the blade, there's no way she can budge that. Even with all her strength, she cannot make that blade move. And even if she beats it, that blade will not move. So this is important because, firstly, if she parries me, if I attack with the flat and she parries, she will cause me to lose control very easily, meeting my flat with her true edge. Not only that, but when she counterattacks, if I'm trying to parry, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I can't parry properly with a flat against a forte. I can't even parry properly with a flat against a foible because the true edge will beat a flat. So she can continue pressing. I can't parry with a flat. So I attack with the true edge because her parry will not take my blade out of control, and also because when she counterattacks, I'm automatically parrying with my true edge. and I can carry her much more strongly. So this is why when you lunge, the true edge is on the inside.